YouTube, this is your boy Aaron, and I am back today. Hold on, sorry about that. Here we go. All right, I am back today, and a little surprise stream. I'm gonna be doing more of these, discussing maybe one topic. This is just something that I just have in my mind, and I really want to discuss because I was able to experience this a couple of days ago. And I'm talking about WWE. We don't talk about WWE that much, but I think in the future we're going to be discussing a little bit more WWE, not on the podcast, but on something like this where I have time to really discuss all the things I'm feeling about WWE. So, without further ado, I want to really talk about my experience. This past Monday, I was able to go to a WWE event, Monday Night Raw. It's in Baltimore, and it's my first time ever going to a WWE event, SmackDown, Raw, NXT, house show, etc. And I have to say, I was impressed. Like, it's one of the best experiences I've ever felt. Sporting events, music, movies, whatever. It was one of those moments that I will never forget. The whole experience was amazing. The crowd was phenomenal. The wrestlers, the entertainers, they were great. The announcers, the commentary, even though I couldn't hear the commentary, but just Samantha Irvin, all of them, they were amazing. The storyline with Judgment Day, Randy Orton popped out of nowhere. I didn't expect that. Just so much stuff went right. Even with the New Day versus the Final Testament, not very don't really care much for that storyline, but seeing Odyssey Jones finally getting his debut and he showed out. It was just an amazing atmosphere. I was completely shocked at how engaged the crowd was. Cause let's face it, in the DMV, depending on where you are, we can be a bit bougie. We can take things for granted, and the crowd can just not be in it. And with Baltimore, it just seems like it's a different atmosphere. I went to a Ravens game, and the crowd was just as much as into it as the WWE event. So it was just a great atmosphere overall. And man, I'm gonna be honest. Like this is up there because I've been to football games, I've been to basketball games, but this is up there for just one of the greatest experience I ever felt. Like WWE, they really did their thing on this show. Monday Night Raw, Raw after SummerSlam was tremendous. The storyline was tremendous. Everything was just phenomenal. The only thing I really liked was the whole thing with uh Sonya versus EO. Yeah. Um no more of that. But yeah, man. Besides that, I just want to talk about WWE and the state that they are right now. They're in a beautiful place. Roman Reigns just came back, so SmackDown should be getting a major boost because without Roman Reigns, it's been going downhill. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Solo Sokoa, I'm just not moved. He just doesn't move me at all. He tries, but in terms of an in-ring act, he's mid. He's a mid-tier wrestler, and they're pushing him a lot because he's a part of the bloodline. He's a part of that lineage, and they want to have that sort of civil war and eventually build up to Roman versus The Rock overall, probably in WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. They want to sell that. So right now they're having Solo as oh he turned on Roman and now he wants to be the top dog, but really there's somebody behind the scenes, and that is Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and they're gonna build that up eventually, and he's gonna come back. But as of right now, we have to deal with the fake bloodline, and I'm just not moved. I get Solo. I get his act. He's trying to be this Suge Knight character. But one thing about Suge Knight is that, well, at least what I hear, um, by himself, he's he's not as tough as you think. And with Solo, similar situation. By himself, he's not as tough as you think. When he's around people, he's intimidating. But Solo really, like Jacob Fatu, like he's the one with the most aura on the squad. Like Jacob Fatu, when he came into the picture, that's when things went from 10 to 100. And Solo just doesn't do it for me. I just don't see the interest. I don't see just anything. He just, when you have when your last name is Fatu, when your lineage, when you're part of the bloodline, I guess that does it for you. For me personally, I just don't see it. I only care about Roman. I only care about The Rock, and that's about it. Everybody else, well, Jacob Fatu is fire too. But besides those three, everybody else can get out the way because they mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. Because they either are mid when it comes to wrestling, or they're mid on the mic. That's just me. So that's just how I feel about the bloodline. But with Monday Night Raw, they just keep killing it. The Judgment Day, I wasn't really feeling the Judgment Day at first. Like last year, I thought they were just annoying. I didn't look at them as a threat because every time I watch them on my screen, they getting cooked. And I understand, as a heel group, that's supposed to happen, but you still have to have your moments where you're dominant and you put fear into your opponents. And the only person that was doing that was Rhea Ripley. But see, she had her own thing. Like they made sure that they separate the women storyline when it comes to Rhea Ripley and then the Judgment Day storyline. Like they were very separate. And when you put all of them together, it's just every time they just getting cooked, they're getting bodied. And I'm just like, this is supposed to take this faction seriously? But then something happened. 2024 arrived, and I started getting more invested into the Judgment Day. It was, I would say, literally when Damian Priest won the title, that's when I got invested into the Judgment Day. That's when I was like, all right, maybe I can take this group seriously. You have the world heavyweight title, Damian Priest, and you have the world heavyweight title on the women's division for Rhea Ripley. So you have two belts at your helm, and they had, well, at one time they had the tag titles, but eventually they got the tag titles back. So that's when I started taking them seriously. And boy, oh boy, the story just kept getting better. Like after WrestleMania, that's when it really got to the apex. That's when it really got to the peak because you bring in Liv Morgan and she injures Rhea Ripley, injures her shoulder, and now she's out. So people are wondering, like, okay, how is this group going to manage without Rhea Ripley? Well, Liv Morgan just puts it over the top. Like she makes the storyline even more intriguing than what it already is because my goodness, I wasn't really feeling her. Like I'm a fan, but like I was still wondering, like, okay, like is she gonna go all the way with this character? Like I still felt like she was on the edge of trying to be a face and a heel. I was like, she's trying to portray herself as like this Harley Quinn psychotic character that's obsessed, but I still feel a reluctancy. Like it doesn't feel like she's really all the way into that character. But then once she beats Becky Lynch, that's when everything turned for the best. That's when her character is now one of the better female characters in WWE. And I would love for her to hold the title until WrestleMania. I don't know if they're gonna do that because look, at the end of the day, as hot as the story is, Liv Morgan compared to Rhea Ripley, she's the way that she's built. She's not as dominant. She's not this fear of a wrestler. So I don't know if they're going to continue to have her hold a title until WrestleMania, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. She can wrestle. She's solid. She's entertaining. I just don't know about this Judgment Day storyline. Do they want to keep doing this until WrestleMania is a big question. Or do they want to continue to do this up to, I don't know, January or November or something like that, and then maybe trade Rhea Ripley to SmackDown and possibly have a feud between her and Bianca or her and Jade? That could be a possibility, but I don't know. I don't know where they're going to turn on things, but ultimately, it's just been an amazing just 2 months when it comes to this group and the story. It's been the number one story in WWE, honestly. Like, there's not a hotter story than the Judgment Day story because you have Finn as well. Like, this whole foreshadowing between the rift between Finn and Damian Priest has been going on since SummerSlam of last year when Damian Priest cost Finn the title because remember, he had the Money in the Bank briefcase. He slid it on the mat in the ring, in the middle of the ring. Finn was trying to grab it. Too late. Curb stomp by Seth Rollins. And that was the end of the story. And then we have this past year, and Finn, he decided, okay, as soon as Damian Priest won the title, he started feeling himself. He was like, yo, I feel like I'm the leader now. And without Rhea, I'm the top dog. And he's been just an asshole in the biggest way possible. He's been controlling, he's been manipulative, he's been telling people what to do when, like Finn said, that's not supposed to be the way of the Judgment Day. It's supposed to be no leaders, and that's that. But Damian Priest, he's went away with it because of the title. And then you got to remember that promo. I forget who was it Jey Uso? Was it Seth Rollins? But he pretty much said, yo, the Judgment Day needs me. I don't need the Judgment Day. And, those guys saw it. And JD McDonough, hey, Damian Priest was treating him wrong too. And that's Finn's guy. And, Finn, he going to feel some type of way of that because that's his man's as well. So this whole event, this whole storyline has been amazing. It's been organic. It really makes so much sense in the grand scheme of things. And now we're here. The Judgment Day as we know it is gone. And Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley are not in this iteration of the Judgment Day. We don't know what's going to happen next. Are they going to form their own group and they're going to bring in some new people? I don't know. But ultimately, this is great. Like, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. And that just makes me want to tune in more for Monday Night Raw next week. Another thing, Seth Rollins and CM Punk, man, the crowd in Baltimore was so loud when CM Punk came through. I'm like, oh my God, dude. This is another storyline that's just on fire right now. The tension between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre. We saw in the SummerSlam that CM Punk, he couldn't get his head straight and he lost to Drew McIntyre. But CM Punk and Seth Rollins still have some issues as well. And we saw that when CM Punk came back in November, when first time on Monday Night Raw. What happens? Seth Rollins pulled up on him and they had a very tense conversation. And this past Monday, it was a tense conversation that almost escalated into a fight. I don't know where they go from here. Do they do a triple threat match? Are they going to do a Hell in a Cell with Drew McIntyre? I don't know where we go from here. How long are they going to do this feud? I don't know. I really don't know. Are they going to do Seth versus CM Punk? I think they eventually will. I mean, they were going to do that in WrestleMania originally, but CM Punk got hurt. I think they have to capitalize on that. Who will win in that fight? I have no clue. That one, I have no clue. I knew Drew was going to win in SummerSlam. There's no way that they were just going to continue to let Drew get hold and not allow Drew to finally get paid off. But this one, I have no clue. I don't know. I don't know who will win on this one. I would assume maybe Seth Rollins, but I don't know. But yeah, that was amazing. And I'm trying to think. Oh, Braun Breaker, like that. Oh my god, I was so disappointed. I wanted to see Braun Breaker, but I'm gonna have to wait next week when I watch him on television. I really wanted to see him live. That was one of the reasons. That was one of the big reasons why I wanted to go to the show. But I'm not too mad because again, it was a great show. We had the Wyatt Six versus Chad Gable's group, American Made, corny name. That was an amazing match. Getting to see the Wyatt Six in action for the first time and just seeing the aesthetics and just their intro, it was something fantastic. It was a really great experience. I knew all them wrestlers. I think his name is Rowan, if I'm not mistaken. The big 7 foot guy with the long beard and he's bald, looking like Craven from Kratos, excuse me, Kratos from from God of War. Yeah, that dude. And then you had the other guy, I forgot. He was in NXT. I remember I watched this match versus D-Jack, and I was like, wow, this guy can go. And I wasn't surprised seeing some of the moves he did in the first match on Monday. That was great. And then the other dude, he looked like a freaking Viking, from Valhalla. Like that was crazy. But yeah, man, that match was amazing, man. Just the story in itself. That's the thing with these matches, there's a story being told. And with Chad Gable, with the Creed brothers, there's so much tension versus the Wyatt Six. And just the way that they were able to tell a story in that match was unbelievable. Like Chad Gable, he's such I wouldn't even call him underrated to this point because I think he's starting to get his praise and his just due. He has really come a long way when it comes to just showcasing his emotions, his expressions. He's already a phenomenal wrestler in itself. Like, oh my god, like the suplex versus on Rowan, like oh my god, like that dude, bruh, like he's talking about pound for pound wrestler. He's up there. But yeah, he has really come a long way. Like I remember months ago, before he turned on Sami Zayn, I didn't really care much about Chad Gable. He was a baby face. I was like, all right. Like I heard he had this great match versus Gunther. That was what I heard from. But before he got involved with Sami Zayn, I didn't really care about him too much. I saw him with the Alpha Academy. I was like, oh, these guys are kind of cheesy, corny. I ain't really feeling it. But when he turned on Sami Zayn, I was like, oh, okay. And I watched the match too. I knew the match was going to cook. I was like, oh, they in Sami Zayn's home country. I was like, all right, home city. It's like, bet, let's see what he got. And ever since that day, he has won me over. I am 100% tuning in for Chad Gable because this dude right here, he's the next Kurt Angle. We see it. It is foolproof. Like he is Kurt Angle Jr. And I love Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And Chad Gable, he is just following Kurt Angle's footsteps. And I love it. Like he's an amazing heel. He really is. He he's not one of them heels that is very scary, but I still love his character. He's just great in what he does, and he's a phenomenal wrestler. I do wish that they would unleash him more. That's the problem with being a heel, is that a lot of times these wrestlers, when they become heels, they I don't know if it's the execs, but it just feels like they water them down, like they don't allow them to utilize all of their toolbox. Like they'll allow them like use these heel tactics like scratching their face or pulling their hair and all that. But I really want Chad Gable to go in his bag a little bit more. And at times with these heels, they just aren't allowed to do that. Me personally, I don't like it because the reason why I enjoy watching these guys wrestle is because they will go above and beyond with some of the wrestling moves. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, Chad Gable, he's an amazing heel, and I can't wait to see more of him. Oh yeah, and also back to the whole Judgment Day thing. I didn't talk about it a little bit more, but Jay, listen, y'all need to put respect on JD McDonough's name. Like, I get it, he's a punching bag. Like his whole gimmick is he makes everybody look better in the ring. Like that's what he is. He's just a punching bag to everybody else. But the guy can wrestle, man. Like he can sell, he can really wrestle. Like when I saw him do that backflip to counter Priest's move, I was like, yo, I wasn't shocked because I seen him before wrestle, and I know what he has. It's just the execs aren't letting him utilize everything in his toolbox because they want him to just be this punching bag and he's a heel and we're not supposed to like him. But man, let him cook occasionally. And they finally let him cook in this match. Like, bro, he's doing bat flips, springboard back flips and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, damn, bro, we need more of that because he is underrated. He is underrated. And that match between Damian Priest was phenomenal. And then them jumping Damian Priest, Liv coming in. It was just an amazing event. It was just an amazing event. And WWE, they have a great future. And it wasn't like the lineup was like superstar studded. Like, yeah, obviously they had Seth Rollins, they had CM Punk, and they had Gunther and Randy Orton. But it's not like they had The Rock, they had Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns. Like, they had people that they organically built up from the ground up, and now they're over. Like they're stars now, and you have to appreciate it. You really do. And just the work that they put in, and just remembering last year, me not even remotely caring that much about the characters, and now I care so much about the characters. I am so intrigued with their characters, and boy, oh boy, I can't wait for next week. Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn rematch, and then the Judgment Day again. Boy, oh boy. But yeah, I'm gonna do more streams like this. I can't give you a definitive schedule, but just know that I'm gonna do more streams of WWE conversations. So stay tuned with that. Just to conclude, I had an amazing time, and I hope in the future that I have a another opportunity to go see WWE. I don't see myself going to go see SmackDown because I'm not really invested in SmackDown too much because just the stories on SmackDown right now are very subpar. I will say though, LA Knight though getting the USA Championship, it's about damn time we get that Logan Paul out of here because 3 title defenses is egregious. Barely showing up for SmackDown every week is egregious. It's about time we give a full-time worker the respect that he deserves, and that's LA Knight. And I hope to God that Triple H books him to the moon because after Roman and Cody, there's not a bigger star right now than LA Knight and SmackDown. And that's even Bianca, that's Jade, that's you whatever you want to name it, or Randy Orton or AJ Styles. He's the third hottest act in SmackDown. So I hope Triple H books him well and does like an open challenge like they did with John Cena. Do something to get him more attention because right now he's hot. Let's build him more. Let's get him into the main event scene eventually. And I hope he has a great US title reign because he's put in a lot of work. He really has. And he honestly deserved the title last year, but Triple H, long-term storytelling. All right, man. Appreciate you all for watching the stream. I will see you guys later. And y'all have a blessed rest of the night. Thank you all for watching, and peace.